This one, it's been talked about by quite a bit lately.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's the
Best reviewed
best
movie of
reviewed
all
movie
time.
of all time,
Mm-hmm.
according to Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is Lady Bird,
Mm-hmm.
written and directed for first time on her own directing. Greta Gerwig. She did another movie with another director. It wasn't quite as well known, but this is her first attempt at writing and directing a movie, and I say she did pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've always get a little bit nervous whenever actors move into directing because they focused a little bit more on performance and not so much on story and substance and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that could have.
So it's kind of the George Clooney problem, where substance isn't always there, but the acting and performances are kind of there because that's their forte.
Mm-hmm.
But
They know what they know, and they use that as their strength.
yes, that is not the case here with Lady Bird. This was, well, definitely the best. What'd you call it? Debut for an actor to directing that I've ever seen. This man, I was trying to make a point a minute ago that I was trying to figure out. Now I've already forgotten it. But Greta Gerwig, she's only been acting since 2005. I felt like I had heard of her a lot longer than that, but apparently that's when that's her very first credit on IMDb. It was in 2005 for acting, and I know she's really big in like the indie circuits. She kind of is in that circle with Ty. I think his name's Ty West or something. And trying to remember the guy's name. He directed Death Note. Do you remember the guy's name that directed Death Note? He's part of that circle of people.
I have blocked that movie out of my memory. I can't think of it right now.
I'm trying to remember, but I know they all do each other's movies. Like one of them will direct, and then they will all act in it, and they will. It's just a Adam Wingard. Adam Wingard. He's part of that circle of friends and stuff. So yeah, they're all. That's where I've been hearing of Greta Gerwig before. Was watching those types of movies, and not all of them are good, but this was very good. Saoirse Ronan, amazing actress. She's definitely grown a lot since The Lovely Bones is one of the first movies I remember seeing her in.
Oh, The Lovely Bones. I remember that one.
And she did Hannah, which was great. She did Brooklyn, which was great. So she's very well-rounded, and this is a very different role than she has done previously. This felt a lot like The Edge of 17 did last year, where it was a great coming-of-age movie, very accurate. It avoided a lot of cliches, where the same was said for this one. This one, there's a lot of moments of that could have felt like a cliche, but it felt a lot more realistic than that, which was awesome. And some of the lines felt like they were improvised, but that's not saying,
a dig against
yeah, it's not a dig against it.
It made it feel more genuine.
Yes. And one amazing thing about this movie, what's her name now? Crud. She was in Roseanne, and she's in this movie. What's her name? Dang it.
Sara Gilbert?
No. She played the mother in this movie. Laurie Metcalf. Laurie Metcalf. Amazing. She was amazing as Lady Bird's mom. Now, here's what the movie's about anyway. I forgot to summarize this movie. It's about a girl named Catherine. She's a senior in high school. She prefers to be called Lady Bird. That's just a nickname that or that's the name that she's given herself. It's not a nickname. That's what her name she wants to go by. And she's basically trying to figure out how to navigate into adulthood from her adolescence. And she wants to be. She's growing up. She's only knows and has only grown up in Sacramento, California, and she wants to be as far away from there as possible. She wants to be in New York, where all the other writers and poets are. She wants to be with those kind of people, where she feels kind of ashamed to be where she's from, and to be from the family that she's grown up in. She did not grow up in a very wealthy family. A lot of the story focuses on her, or not, a little bit of the story focuses on her father losing his job. Her father, who is played by, what's his name? Oof. His name is not on here. Either way, her father was played excellent, whoever the man was that played her dad.
Mm-hmm.
So the relationship between Laurie Metcalf and the man that played her father was so real and it helped balance out, because the dad, he goes through a lot. He suffers from depression, but he doesn't let it affect his relationship with his family.
Mm-hmm.
But Laurie Metcalf, the mom, puts all that weight on top of her, and she is a lot more honest than he is about that type of stuff. So she's the one that has to get on to Lady Bird about her attitude and how it affects the family and how it affects her dad. And she's the one that feels more of the shame that Lady Bird puts on the family.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's very realistic family dynamic. It's a very realistic mother-daughter, child-parent relationship, and it was a very, very real movie. The weakest point I'd say in this movie was probably, if I had to choose, this is literally just a nitpick. If I had to choose a weak point in this movie, it would just be the soundtrack. There's no movie's not going to win any awards for the music in this movie, except for it had some really cool throwbacks, because this was a movie that was set in 2002 to 2003 time, and there's a couple throwbacks in there, like "Cry Me a River" from Justin Timberlake was used in the movie, which was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
But and this was also around the time where cell phones were starting to become a little bit more common with younger people, which was used in a funny way in this movie. So, yeah, this movie has a lot of light-hearted moments, and it has a lot of really serious moments. It definitely had its Oscar moment within the last, let's say, 10 minutes of the movie is the real Oscar-winning moments there. And I really can see Laurie Metcalf getting nominated. I looked at Laurie Metcalf's IMDb to see if I had just been... I said, I don't remember. I said, I really don't think she's done anything since Roseanne. And she has done a lot of voice roles. She's done a couple TV shows. I know she's had small parts and stuff on like Big Bang Theory and stuff like that. But I was like, has she really never done anything like this kind of movie? Has not. So it was really cool that Greta Gerwig or whoever was, I mean, I know Allison Jones was the casting director in this movie, but I don't know who the decision it ultimately was to hire Laurie Metcalf for this movie, but I'm glad they did, and I really want to see more of Laurie Metcalf after this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some of the cast in this movie, you guys are going to be hearing a lot about, like Lucas Hedges, who was in Manchester by the Sea, and he was also the son in Three Billboards movie. He was also in this movie, and he was really good in this movie. He had a really cool character arc and reveal in this movie that I thought was really fun and neat and somewhat emotional. And then Timothée Chalamet is in this movie. He's also going to be in another movie that's getting a lot of Oscar buzz called Call Me by Your Name, an Armie Hammer movie. He was excellent in this movie. He helped Lady Bird reach her ultimate character arc in this movie, where she gets to. All right. He was kind of the helped push her to where she needed to get in this movie.
He was the she needed.
Yep. So
all right, that's good to hear.
It was really, really neat. And I'm trying to remember the girl's name. She was in Neighbors 2. Here it is, Beanie Feldstein, I think is how you pronounce her last name.
Mm-hmm.
She was Lady Bird's best friend in this movie. Really good. She was so good. She played a really realistic, like preppy friend, but I think that's what you would call her. But she was the friend that she later on becomes ashamed of, and then to avoid the cliches, wants to go back and stuff. But either way, she's actually Jonah Hill's younger sister. She was. I saw all I could think about once I knew that was I said I could totally see Jonah Hill and his sister in this character. It was really cool. But either way, this was an excellent movie. I'm giving it a 10. I'm giving it a 10. There's no weak points in this movie. Like I said, if I had to nitpick, it would be the soundtrack, and that's not a huge nitpick.
So that's 2 10s, a 9.5, and a 9 tonight.
Yes.
Wow. We really like what we saw this weekend.
It's been quite a year. I'm not even grading this on a curve. If this had some negativity,
you would have pointed them out.
I would have pointed them out, and I would have lowered the score.
Mm-hmm.
But there was none in here. Everybody did their job very well in this movie, and I'm extremely excited to see what else Greta Gerwig has to do after this movie. And they could do a sequel in this movie. I really do want to know what happens after this movie stopped.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much more to the story that could be told. I don't know necessarily if it needs to be a sequel or if it could be like a spiritual sequel, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But there's definitely a lot that can be told for this rest of this story.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked it.
All right.
So, guys, let us know. Did you see Lady Bird? Did you agree with the 10? Do you think that it deserves to be the highest reviewed movie of all time on Rotten Tomatoes? Let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Because I don't know necessarily if it deserves to be all time, but definitely for this year, it's one of the better movies I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So